lost at East Carolina 56-3. As you've gone back and looked at it, just give me impressions on the game.
Yeah, ECU is good. Those are my impressions on the game. You see the difference in the resources as far as FCS and FBS. ECU does it right. They do a great job. I mean, I think that team's a team that can be an 8 to 9 win team every year. I mean, they went toe to toe with a Power Four in NC State the week before. And I think that's just the facts of it. They're a really good football team. Are there things that we could have done better? Absolutely. Are there things we got to get better at? Absolutely. And that's kind of what we went into it this week to be able to focus on what do we have to do to get better, and be able to execute at our level.
Obviously, you know the challenge that you're facing when you go into that type of environment against that quality of opponent. Their score on their first 3 drives, you're in the hole early. How difficult does that make it to maintain the momentum and keep the energy up on your own sideline?
Yeah, you look at where we were a year ago at this time, we would have had 5 more personal fouls in that game, and our kids would have quit and given up and not done those things. Our kids didn't do any of those things. They just kept fighting. They kept playing. We had an opportunity. We kicked a field goal at the end of at the first of the second quarter. Had an opportunity, in reality, to get in the end zone. Missed a pass right there on a third down. Down there close. That drive started on the -3 yard line, went 70 plus yards down the field, to be able to opportunity. If we execute, we got a chance to score. You know, if you score on that, now it's a 14-7 ball game, and that's a different game in that spot. That's 2 weeks for our offense that they've been able to go extended drives down the field and being able to execute. And I think what it shows our team is when we execute, we can put together really good things. The week before we went 96 yards against Rhode Island, who's obviously one of the best in the country. And then you talking about you're going 70, potential to go 97 yards against ECU at their place. And so I think what it shows our kids and our coaches is that it's the execution. The magic is not in the scheme or that. It's the magic's the execution piece.
Offensively, your quarterback, Campbell, killer, while he didn't throw it for a ton of yards, 121, 18 to 25, didn't get picked off at all. Against that kind of defense and pressure, how did you feel like he held up?
Yeah, I thought he's taking care of the football really well for us in those spots. Again, we had some opportunities to get probably some more yardage, and ECU's really fast on the perimeter, and they ran some guys down, and that's football. But to be able to take care of the football in that spot, he's going to give us a chance. And I thought he made some good decisions. We've got to be able to kind of simplify some things for him and be able to get back to some of the basics of who we are.
Defensively, obviously a tough day, but Samaj Jackson, 7 tackles, Brandon Guzman broke a couple of passes. What were you able to take away from the game defensively, and were there any guys that you felt like had good performances out there?
Yeah, anytime you're safety in your corner, you're leading tacklers, that ain't a good night, right? And that's just the reality of it. I think we learned a lot about how we're stressed when we're stressed, and where our communication is and where we fit and where we're doing our job, and that's the thing we've got to be able to improve this week. It had nothing to do with a lot of those things. Getting beat is one thing, not doing your job is another. And that's what we tried to address yesterday is the not doing our job and not being where we're supposed to be. Those are the things that we got to correct. If somebody's better than us, they're better than us. Life goes on, tip your hat, move on down the road. But we can't beat ourselves. And it felt like we gave up some things that we probably shouldn't have. And we went to work last night. We kind of flipped our schedule around. Usually we don't practice on a Sunday night, and really felt like we needed to get better yesterday. And so flipped our schedule around, got our guys back on the grass, and got better yesterday and worked on us in that spot. And that's the focus for us to move forward. We got to focus on us, and we got to get us better.
Let's look ahead. You've got your home opener, which I'm sure you're happy about after 2 weeks on the road, playing a quality Furman team that has a win over William & Mary earlier. As you've started to break them down, what are some of the challenges they present for you?
Yeah, they're a good football team. They're a good football program. I mean, and they've done it year in and year out in the SoCon. They got some really talented guys on the perimeter that are really fast, create some matchup problems. They're a good football team coming in here. Man, we're excited to be at home. And so we're excited to play a home game. We're excited to sleep in your own beds, to be able to play in front of your home crowd. And so I think we're excited about that opportunity. And good football teams got to win at home. One of the most impressive things, you look at Rhode Island and what they've done over the last 2 years is they've won 10 straight at home. and good teams win at home. And I think that's the big challenge for us is we've got to play better at home than we do on the road, and that's what it is. Furman's really good. We know that they've competed, beat William and Mary, good William and Mary team. We know what Coach London builds up there and the kind of product he's going to put on the field week in and week out. And so there's a ton of respect for those guys and what they do. And we're excited for the opportunity to be at home and defend our home field.
I know you feel like you've got a really good football team. We've talked about that, and you guys went toe to toe with that good Rhode Island team. How do you get your guys back in the mindset that you need them to be in going into this week and going into this 3-game homestand that you've talked about being so important for you?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to win and you don't want to put it in and you don't want to be in the right mindset this week after losing two, football is probably not for you. And so our guys are hungry dogs, and that full dog got that full belly, don't move around very much. Man, our bellies are empty. You can see some of our ribs sticking out, right? And so we got to have that mindset of going into this is like we need to eat, every day, and so we got to be able to go to work like I said, on a Sunday night, and we had to go out and practice like we were hungry. And then we got to go do that on Tuesdays. We got to get back on the football field, and we got to be hungry for the knowledge, hungry for the ability to get better in that spot. But man, if you can't be that after being 0-2, I mean, nobody likes being 0-2. The grass isn't very green, the sky isn't very blue, and I would say, your girlfriend, your wife's not very pretty, but that's not the case in mine. So don't get me on record for saying that. But that if we ain't hungry this week, Rob, then we probably need to go do something else with our jobs and with what we do.
Other than the hunger and the desire, are there one or two key things after the first couple of weeks that you feel like you really need to do better?
Yeah, we're gonna execute 100%. It's kind of like just one or two pieces off. We got to be more consistent in our execution. Kind of like I talked about, our offense was able to go really far down the field against an ECU team and be able to get those things done. They did a really good job of that. But now we got to be able to go execute that consistently throughout the drive. We can't sit there and do it one time. We got to do it consistently for multiple drives. And the same way defense, we did some good things. We turned the ball over on kickoff return, give the ball to ECU on the 25-yard line, and then we get a turnover downs right there. Man, that's really good football, and that's really tough situations that we can be able to do. But the magic is in the consistency that we've got to be able to play, and that starts on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if you're more consistent on those days, then that's going to give us the confidence to be that on Saturday. There's nothing wrong with the scheme. I mean, if you can go 70-something yards against ECU and 90-something yards against Rhode Island, there ain't nothing wrong with the scheme. If you can create 5 turnovers against Rhode Island or 4 turnovers and get a 4th down stop against ECU in the red zone, there ain't nothing wrong with the scheme. We just got to be more consistent in our execution. As coaches, we got to get that out of our players, and we got to coach more consistent.
All right, Braxton, thanks so much for the time here this morning. Good luck on Saturday against Furman, and I look forward to talking again next week.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, thank you.